So welcome once again to the question paper analysis of UGC NET English, December 2021, Shift 1. And this video is presented by Professor Academy, Chennai. And today we are going to discuss question number 16 to 20. All right. Then let's go to question number 16. Given below are two statements. Statement 1, linguists being primarily interested in the scientific study of language approach language dispassionately. So that's statement number 1. Statement number 2, linguists are necessarily polyglots who bring their own biases to language study. Then we have options. Option A, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. B, both statement 1 and statement 2 are, first one is incorrect, second correct. Then C, statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. D, statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So how to deal with this question? Number one, you have to ask yourself whether the first statement is true. At least if one is true, you can eliminate two options. Linguists being primarily interested in the scientific study of language approach language dispassionately. So what's the meaning? As you know, linguistics is a scientific study of language, and dispassionately you should not bring any bias to the field. You should be neutral, objective. But the next statement contradicts the first statement, right? Linguists are necessarily polyglots. Polyglots are ones who know a lot of languages, who bring their own biases to language study. So you have to make a decision which is correct, because there is some contradiction in the first statement between first statement and statement 2. And let's go to the answer, then let's discuss. Answer C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So for this kind of a question, you need a broad understanding of linguistics, and that will do. As I told you before, statement 1, as everybody knows, linguistics is generally defined as the scientific study of language. As a scientific study, you have to be objective. You can't be prejudiced. And you not say that my mother tongue is superior to other languages. We can't make such statements in linguistics. A linguist should love all languages. A linguist should treat all languages as equals. So that is the primary purpose of a linguist. He or she should not be prejudiced. And sometimes linguists need not be polyglots. Sometimes they master a language, and of course they have some acquaintance with other languages. So it doesn't mean you have to say, of all the languages I know, this is the best language. That kind of a statement a linguist should not make. A linguist should treat all language equally and study equally, right? So, and if you know this, then it's easy, right? Statement 1 is correct. If you know this, then you can easily eliminate option A and option D. Then you are left with two options. Then you can come to a kind of a conclusion. Since there is a contradiction, you can also eliminate option B. Then you'll be left with only C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So linguistics sometimes is defined as a systematic study of language. Why systematic study of language? Because we take a particular field and rigorously we study its mechanics. For instance, these are the core branches of linguistics. First one, phonology, which is the study of speech sounds, the sounds we make. Then morphology, study of formation of words. So how we make words or form words. The word morph actually means a shape. So simply put, how we shape words or form words. Syntax is a study of sentence structures. Then semantics, study of meaning. Pragmatics is a study of language in everyday context, how people use language in action or in an everyday context. So that is pragmatics. These are the core branches of linguistics. And if you are interested in learning linguistics, you can start with this book, Jean Aitchison, Jean, Jean Aitchison, Aitchison. Famous book, simply put, linguistics. It was published by this publishers or series called teach yourself books. So I started my linguistics, or this is how I acquainted myself with linguistics. So I started with this book, a very easy to approach book. Now in its latest edition, the author has added a lot of new things. So you can begin linguistics with this book. Then you can also start with George Yule's The Study of Language. And most of the time, question setters go for this book, George Yule, The Study of Language. Okay. Then we have another book, Linguistics for Everyone, an Introduction, Kristen Denham and Anne Lobeck, Lobeck. So you can use 3 books, and this can be your source for introduction to linguistics. Now let's go to the next question. Question number 17. Which of the following words refers to a sound that is associated with a particular meaning? You have to pay attention, and again this question is also related to linguistics, especially phonetics and phonology. So options: A, phoneme; B, phonemoid; C, phoneme; D, phonic substance. So first you have to eliminate certain options. So if you have some acquaintance with the phonology, the first term we learn is actually phoneme, right? But what is the definition given here? A sound that is associated with a particular meaning. So the keyword is a particular meaning. So that's the keyword. And the last option doesn't sound good. Phonic substance doesn't seem a term. So you can eliminate that. So you'll be left with the 3. Is it phoneme or phonemoid or phoneme? Make a choice, then we'll go for the explanation. Answer C, phoneme. Why it is not phoneme? Because phoneme is the minimal sound unit, like a, or you say p. So a minimal sound unit in a language is called phoneme. It has nothing to do with a particular meaning. So you can eliminate that. Then we are left with 2, B or C. Is it phonemoid or phoneme? But let's check out phoneme. What is a phoneme? Before that, what is a phoneme? Phoneme, as I told you before, a minimal sound unit. For instance, in English, we have this, or the phonology of British English, we have this sound, f. So how do you make this sound? You use your upper teeth and you bite your lower lip, f. And look at the words we have: roof, stiff, cough, graph. But the letters are different. In the first word, we have only one letter, R-O-F, and we pronounce that letter as f. Then stiff, we have 2 F. Again, we pronounce it as f. Then we have cough, but we have letters GH. Again, we pronounce it as f. Then we go for graph, PH. Again, we pronounce it as f. So whether it is F or double F or GH or PH. So what I'm trying to say, these are letters. Sometimes letters, 2 or even 3 letters, can make one single phoneme. So phoneme is a minimal sound unit. So you should not confuse phoneme with letters. So these are letters. All these letters are, we have, whereas GH or PH, they represent one single phoneme. Maybe let's look at another example. And sometimes we have, let's go for this phoneme, E. As in win, we have letter I, and that is pronounced E, phoneme, win. Or we have women. In this word women, we have the letter O, and we also have the letter E. Both are pronounced E, women. We, then E, women. Then we have the letter Y, M-Y-T-H, but again it is pronounced E, myth. Or you have the letter U, but it is pronounced E, busy. Or even the letter Y at the end of the word busy. So you have to know the distinction between letters and phonemes. Phonemes, they represent a sound unit. Letters are different. Okay. So the phonology of British English, we have 44 phonemes, consonants 24, and vowels 20. So sometimes if they go for a direct question, they may simply ask the phonology of British English, how many phonemes are there? The answer is 44, and sometimes they can confuse with the consonants and vowels. Next, what is this phonics theme? Because that's the question we got. First, we have to know we have something called phonetics. So it's kind of phonology or phoneme plus aesthetics. Aesthetics is a study of arts or beauty. So phonetics represents, or it means the study of the aesthetic properties of sound. Let me explain. So we have phoneme, PHONAESTHEME, which represents a sound unit. Fine. But it also represents a particular meaning. How? For instance, in English, whenever we go for this long E sound, E as in teeny, teeny. So whenever we say it is a teeny tiny, it means we represent it refers to something small. Or we go for weeny, WEENY. Now this sound carries some particular, it has some meaning to it, and this is actually phonics theme. If we represent only the sound, then it is phoneme. But if some meaning is attached to that phoneme, then it is phonics theme. Here, this long vowel E represent smallness, something that's small. So when we say teeny, it refers to something which is tiny. Okay, so this is actually phonics theme, right? Now let's go for the sources. So if you want to read about phonetics and phonology, under linguistics, you can start with Peter Roach. It's a very good book, English, Phonetics and Phonology, a practical course. I started with this book actually, Mike Davenport and S.J. Hannex, Introducing Phonetics and Phonology. I came across this book in the library of Loyola College, Chennai. Then I fell in love with this book. So I started off with this book. Then I went for Peter Roach, English, Phonetics and Phonology. But the book I always go to, or this is my go-to book, David Crystal's A Dictionary of Linguistics and Phonetics. Even the term phonics theme, I looked up that word or the term in this book, A Dictionary of Linguistics and Phonetics. So if you want to know any term related to linguistics or phonetics, you can go to this dictionary by the master David Crystal. Or if you want to say, no, I want a book for beginners, then you have to go for Peter Roach, English, Phonetics and Phonology. And this book, Mike Davenport and S.J. Hannex, is a bit advanced, but it's a really good one. It covers, even what is missed in the other book, Peter Roach. Okay. So with this, we'll go to the next question. Which of the following are true of the term performance as used in linguistic theory? So we have 4 statements here. A, it is analogous to the Saussurean concept of lang. B, it refers to the specific utterances of individual native speakers in actual situations. C, it is an innate grammar that suggests humans' universal ability to use language. D, it includes hesitations and unfinished structures arising out of psychological difficulties acting upon the speaker. So these are the statements. Now let's go to the options. So our job is to find what is the meaning of performance when it comes to linguistics. So we have options. Option A, A and B only. Then we go for option B, A and C only. Then we go for option C, B and C only. Then option D, B and D only. If you have some idea, so when we say performance, it's like a practical thing, something that happens in a real situation. Then if you have, even if you don't know, this concept, you can come up with your own theory on the spot based on that word itself. Performance, you perform somewhere. So it has something to do with the actual situation. Or if you come to that conclusion, then you say, option B should be there. Then at least you can eliminate the option D. It's also there. B, A and C only. So you can eliminate that. You can go for some other option, right? But let's check out the answer and see the logic behind this question. Answer D, B and D only. So what is B? Performance, it refers to the specific utterances of individual native speakers in actual situation. And D, it includes hesitation and unfinished structures arising out of psychological difficulties acting upon the speaker. So logical, right? Performance refers to how you speak or the utterances you make in a actual situation. When you speak, you also make hesitation. For instance, when I speak now, sometimes I make pauses. I take some time to make the next sentence. So it includes hesitation and unfinished structures, right? So both are connected. B and D are connected. Whereas A and C, we don't know. Or let's see, when we go for the explanation, you will find this question very easy. So we have a field called semiology. It's called the study of signs, SIGNS. So what is a sign? Sign is something that stands for something something else, or simply put, something that stands for other than itself. For instance, when I say a dog, it doesn't draw attention to the letters DOG. It actually refers to the idea of an animal called dog, right? So the word doesn't stand for itself, but something else. So that is a sign. So sign, simply put, it refers to something. When I say a word, it refers to an idea or a concept. So a sign is made of two parts, signifier and signified, right? So let's look at an example, then we'll come to the definition. So when I say tree, TREE, or you can look at the screen, you are now looking at the word tree, TREE. So when you look at a word or when you hear a word, the moment you see that word, what comes to your mind? When I say tree, the idea of a tree, comes to your mind in the shape of a tree, right? That's a kind of an image in your mind. So that word TREE, that is the signifier. So a signifier simply means the material form of a sign. What is a material form? When we say material, something that you can feel, something that is tangible. Why it is material? Why? Because now you are looking at it. No, it is perceivable. You can see that, TREE. Or when I utter this word tree, you can hear this. So it is auditory as well as visual. So it has some material quality to it. It is tangible. You can feel, right? So that is signifier. The second one, signified, is the mental concept evoked by the signifier. So you have this material form, tree. It invokes or it triggers this image in your mind. And that image is actually signified. It is a concept, right? Mental concept evoked by the signifier. So signifier, signified. So a sign is made of signifier and signified. So this concept was put forward by the Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. He gave a series of lectures, and that those lectures were compiled by his students and published as a book, Course in General Linguistics, 1916. And because of this publication, linguistic took a different turn. So Saussure was also considered the father of modern linguistics. Because of his contribution, something changed. And because of his contribution, linguistics attained the status of, kinds of science. That's why we call linguistic the study of, the scientific study of language. It's because of him. And in his own words, he defined signifier as sound image. You hear, and it's a kind of an image you see. Signified refers to concept that is evoked in your mind. So not only tree, if I say dog, or if I say cat, or if I say camel, so something, a kind of an image comes to your mind. So the words dog, cat, or camel, they are signifiers. The image that, respective images, right? And those are signified. And another important concept, there is no logic between signifier and signified. Why a tree is called a tree, we don't know. But in different languages, we have different words. In Tamil, we say maram, right? Or Latin, obra. Again, French, obra. There is no logic why we should have, why not we have the same word for this idea called tree. So there is no logic. We follow the tradition. Someone told us it is tree, right? Because that's how people have been calling that object, or maram, or abra, then we follow it, right? So there is no logic why this object is called tree, or why we call a dog dog, we don't know. So there is no logic. So this is called arbitrary nature of sign. Arbitrary means illogical. There is no logic. There is no logical connection between signifier and signified. Now let's go to the other concepts by Saussure. So for Saussure, language is a system of semiotic differences. So you compare and contrast two signs, then we understand, okay, this is not that. A cat is not a dog. A dog is not a camel. So we make meaning by through differences. So we compare and contrast signs. So simply put, that's one concept: sign, signifier, signified, and the arbitrary nature of sign. Now let's go to his other two concepts, major concepts: lang, L-A-N-G-U-E. The word lang actually means tongue, or tongue, right? So it is a system of signs. You know, anyone who speaks a language has a system of signs in his or her mind. So it is a kind of a knowledge of how that particular language functions. But here, Saussure is not only talking about language, he is also talking about signs in general. It can be a traffic sign, or it can be the signs, SIGNS, used in a particular field. So a person learns all these things with effort. And this is a kind of a godown, or a kind of a bureau. It's a kind of a storehouse. It's a kind of a brain. So we collect everything, it is there. Lang represents a system. It's a kind of a storehouse of signs. Parole, P-A-R-O-L-E, refers to how we make use of certain signs in a particular context. So simply put, signs in use, in everyday use. For instance, now I'm explaining all these terms. It doesn't mean these are the only words I know, right? In English, we know a lot of words, but in this occasion, I prefer certain words to explain these concepts. So you can't come to a conclusion. This guy knows these many words. No, only particular occasion. For this occasion, I use certain words. So this is called performance or parole. But the word parole is used by Saussure. Similar concept, but Chomsky came up with different name. So Chomsky is known for his famous book Syntactic Structures, published in 1957. You have to pay attention to the publication here, publication year 1957, because this book revolutionized the field of linguistics. And he made this famous statement: colorless green ideas sleep furiously. Syntactically correct. We have colorless green ideas. Ideas, it's a noun, followed by verb, sleep, then furiously, adverb. So subject, verb, adverb, right? Fine, or adjunct. But it doesn't make any sense. How can ideas be colorless as well as green? A kind of a contradiction. Can ideas sleep? If at all, furiously? So Chomsky said, sometimes we can make a complete grammatically correct sentence, but it may not make sense. So he just criticized, linguists have been studying only surface structure of a sentence. They don't study the deep structure of a sentence, right? Then he went for his TG grammar, transformational generative grammar, and surface structure and deep structure. But for this class, let's restrict ourselves to these two terms. For Chomsky, competence refers to native speakers' knowledge of their language. So if your mother tongue is Tamil or Malayalam, each of you has a knowledge of your language, your mother tongue, right? So this is called competence, a kind of, you have a storehouse of knowledge of your own mother tongue. Then performance depends on the occasion. We use certain words or certain phrases. The performance refers to the specific utterances of speech. So now you can compare and contrast. It sounds similar, right? Chomsky's competence is equivalent to Saussure's lang, and Chomsky's performance is equivalent to Saussure's parole. Both are one and the same. right? So Chomsky was inspired by Saussure, simple. And both contributed to modern linguistics. Sometimes both are called father of modern linguistics. So if you have this kind of an understanding, then if you go back, just now read, it's an easy question, a straightforward question. Just read the question again. Which of the following are true of performance? You can immediately eliminate the first one. It is analogous to the Saussurean concept of Lang. No, right? Lang is more to do with a system of science. It's not performance, right? Performance is associated with parole, not Lang. Then the next is correct. It refers to a specific utterance. Third, you can eliminate. It doesn't refer to an innate grammar. Then with this knowledge, it's very easy. B and D. It's a direct question if know this, right? Now let's go for the next question. Who among the following is the founder of the Survey of English Usage? SEU. Survey of English Usage. A. Brian Garner. B. Henry Watson Fowler. C. Michael Swan. D. Randolph Quirk. Quirk. Let's go to the answer. D. Randolph Quirk. Quirk. This is a research institute, Survey of English Usage. It's a research institute, and they have been working on linguistics, the field of linguistics, and they have been producing a lot of good works. And it was established by Randolph Quirk in 1959, and he founded it at Durham University. Then he moved to University College London, UCL. Now it is there. 1960, he moved there. The Survey of English Usage, that research center is in University College London, and it is considered the first corpus linguistics research center established in Europe and second in the world. Now we have to understand something else. What is corpus linguistics? Okay, we get this information, piece of information, that the survey of English Usage, the department was, or the center was established by Randolph Quirk, and it's now in University College London. But what is corpus linguistics? What is corpus linguistics? Corpus linguistics is the compilation and analysis of corpora. So then we have to ask another question. What is corpus? So corpus is a kind of a large data, a body of data, a large body of text stored in an electronic database. If you want to understand this, why don't you check out any online dictionary? I often use this dictionary, Lexico, powered by Oxford. So if you just type linguistic in this website, it gives a lot of options, a lot of data, not only definition, it also gives you synonyms, it also gives you example sentences, and it goes on and on. And it also gives you suggestions. Look at the screen, we have linguistics, linguistic science, linguistic scientist, linguistic talk. So someone or a team has worked behind this dictionary, right? And what they did, they have collected, put everything together. So once you type the word, or when you search, the computer brings it to you, right? The program brings that particular entry to you. So this is called corpus linguistic, creating a large body of text stored in an electronic database. And now you can understand, if you go back, so this is what they do. The first corpus linguistics research center established in Europe. So they collect or they create databases. Now let's check out Randolph Quirk, a very important linguist, especially this book, A Comprehensive Grammar of the English Language. He came up with this book with Sidney Greenbaum or Jeffrey Leach and Jan Savatwick or Savatwick. This is considered a masterpiece, and the index for this book was created by David Crystal. A few years ago, I bought this book for around 750 rupees. And it is no exaggeration, the title, A Comprehensive Grammar of the English Language. It's a voluminous book. Everything that he wants to know about the English grammar is there. And this is the book, if you are interested in English grammar or mastering the English language, this is the book you should often visit. Then we have another book by Randolph Quirk. We have The Use of English. Then he has also written this book, An Old English Grammar, with C.L. Wren. Right. Then let's check out the other options. We have why this confusion, why there is some logic in the options. See, we have Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Brian A. Garner. He was actually a lawyer, an advocate, and he came up with this book, Garner's Modern English Usage. Then the famous H.W. Fowler, a Dictionary of Modern English Usage. Then we have Michael Swan, known for his easy to approach practical English usage. So all came up with a book on English usage. So that's the logic behind the question or the options. So whether it's Brian Garner or H.W. Fowler or Michael Swan. Now let's go to the last question. In comparative philology and sometimes in modern phonology, what is the term used to refer to the deletion of a vowel within a word? So we need a term referring to the deletion of a vowel within a word. Option A, aphoresis, A-P-H-A-E-R-E-S-I-S. B, equideletion. C, paradigm. D, syncope. Sometimes we pronounce it wrong. I used to pronounce this word wrong. Syncope. No, it is syncope. Right? We have to go to the answer. Sometimes do not go for the obvious one. So you may tend to think, why not B, equideletion, because the deletion. Do you think that kind of logic is there? I don't think so. Sometimes do not go for the most obvious because that is deceiving, right? So let's check out the answer. D, syncope. So in order to understand this term, let's go to first prosody. There's a field in literature called prosody or prosody. P-R-O-S-O-D-Y. What is prosody? Prosody refers to the grammar of poetry. So when we write poems, we also go for meter. The most famous meter in English poetry, we have iambic pentameter. So what is iambic or truncated? If you want to know about that, we have to study prosody, right? So under prosody, we have something called elision. So what is elision? The omission or slurring of a syllable, right? Under elision, elision is a broad term. Under elision, we have two types. First one is syncope. So syncope refers to elimination or omission of a letter or a syllable within a word. For instance, when we say heaven, so we just remove the last, the vowel in the last syllable. We have two syllable heaven, so we remove the e. So you go for a hyphen here, heaven, or we don't say heaven or heaven. So the last syllable is removed. So you remove a letter or a syllable within a word, then that is syncope, like this one. Then we have another type, synaresis, S-Y-N-A-E-R-E-S-I-S. What happens here? It is not within word, but it involves two words. We have a word ending with a vowel, then another word, the following word begins with a vowel. So we have two vowels back to back, right? Two adjacent vowel sounds. And in such a case, sometimes we remove the first vowel or a single vowel, or here. The effect, we have the ending with E, then effect starting with E. So what we do, we just cut it out, the E in the. So we say defect. We don't say the effect or defect, right? This is called synaresis. So whenever we learn, we have to learn some more, so that next time next time they may ask for synaresis or elision or prosody. All right. So whenever we analyze previous year question paper, this is what you have to do. One more about that point, or one more option. Read one more, or collect a point, one more point about that, so that you are also parallelly preparing, not only analyzing. Then let's end this class with again the term, but in phonetics. So elision, as we discussed, refers to the omission of a sound or syllable in pronunciation. In English, we can understand this concept. It's very easy, right? If you say want to go, you slur, you omit sounds. Like you say wanna go, right? Want to go becomes wanna go, or you say do not becomes don't. So we omit sounds or syllables. So this is an example from English. It's also available in French. In French, the same concept. In French, H is considered a vowel. So we have a vowel before that. We have this article LE, then followed by HOMME, two vowels coming together. So we eliminate or delete the first vowel. So om becomes lom, which means the man, right? It's also available in Tamil. So where we have a concept called Sandhi. Sandhi is also available in other languages. And in Sandhi, we have this specific factor called elision of letters. Look at these two words here. So we have a compound word, muha bottom, right? So it refers to the tiredness we see in our face, or sometimes literally translate kind of a literal translation, the tiredness of a face, kind of muga bottom. We have two words, muham and bottom, right? And we combine this into a compound word. But in the compound word, a sound is missing, elision of letter. For instance, muham, or im sound is here, and this sound vanishes in the result. So muham plus bottom becomes muha bottom. That sound is deleted. So this is also elision. So this is linguistics, as that's how we behind this class or behind this discussion. A linguist should not be prejudiced. For a linguist, any language or all the languages are equal. And when we teach linguistics, we should also consider all languages as equals, right? So with this, let's end today's class. Thank you so much. And if you want to follow Professor Academy's YouTube channel, please subscribe for further videos. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.